Hello everyone, my name's Mike. I'm the creator of WaxDAO. We just launched DAOs on our platform yesterday. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up a DAO, how it all works, what a DAO even is and why you would want to use one, the whole process of making proposals and voting and all that stuff. And I'm also going to talk about some future plans for the DAOs at the end of the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be timestamps beneath the video if you want to skip ahead. However, I know you guys are going to have like 9,000 questions about how this all works, so I highly recommend just watching the whole video before you ask me something that I've already covered in a video. But feel free to pop in the Telegram if you have any questions when this is all over. Anyway, what is a DAO and why would you want one? A DAO is basically just a way to allow people holding a specific asset to have voting power within your project, to be able to influence the future decisions and the plans that you make. So for example, if you were running some project on Wax and it was called Wax Game or something like that, and you had a token called Wax Game Token, you can set up a DAO so that anybody holding Wax Game Token is able to vote on future decisions that the project makes, whether that's who you partner with or what project you develop next. And we're also going to be setting it up so that you can do the same thing for people holding NFTs, not just a specific token. But in version 1, which we just launched, you can only do this with tokens right now. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually do that and how the process works. The first thing you would need to do is just go to waxdao.io. You can go to any page on WaxDAO and you'll see this navigation bar at the top of the screen. Or if you're on mobile, you'll see it at the bottom of the screen. But either way, you're going to see a tab called DAOs at the bottom right or top right. So just click on DAOs and that's going to pull up this page right here. The first thing you'll do is go to create DAO if you want to create your own DAO. And that's going to bring you to this form right here. But anyway, you'll notice that there's really not much to this form. All it does is ask you for a payment. And that might be a bit confusing because how do you actually add some custom settings to your DAO if you can't enter it in the form here? I'm not going to go too deep into the technical reasons why it's set up like this. It's basically about RAM costs for those of you who care. But basically, the first thing you do is make the payment. So you can either pay 500 Wax, 50,000 Wojak tokens, or you can burn 2 Wojak NFTs. If you click to burn 2 NFTs, it's going to pull up this form where you just grab the asset IDs of a couple Wojak NFTs that you hold, and you would just paste them in these 2 fields and click Create DAO Now. I'm going to be paying with Wojak tokens to create my DAO, so I'll just click Pay 50,000 Wojak, and it's just going to ask me to click the button here. It's going to pull up a transaction for me to sign so that I can send 50,000 Wojak tokens to the contract. All right, I've just signed the transaction in Anchor Wallet, and you can see I've got this message here that says success. You can now customize your DAO on the My DAOs page. So when you make the payment, you basically just get a blank boilerplate DAO. And then you need to actually create the settings for it after you've already purchased a DAO. So now we can go back to this DAOs tab here and go to My DAOs. It's going to show us any DAOs that we've created. And we just have this blank DAO here that says DAO 3. So if I click on Edit Now, you'll see now I can enter all the information about this DAO. And this is going to be really confusing and intimidating at first. That's why I wanted to make this video. There's a lot of different settings. I'll explain what each one of them is and how they work. The first thing is pretty straightforward. It's the DAO name. The DAO name has the same requirements as any Wax wallet or EOS wallet. It has to be a maximum of 12 characters. It can be less though. And it can only be lowercase letters A through Z or numbers 1 through 5. So I'm just going to call mine WaxDAO, all lowercase. Next we have the logo. So this is just going to be an IPFS hash that you want to be the logo for your DAO. And you can see it says here, it should be 100 pix by 100 pixels. It doesn't need to be, but you definitely want it to be square because the website's going to resize it to be square no matter what. So if you have an image that's not square, it's going to look funny and it's not going to look good on your DAO. I'm just going to take a random image from one of my NFTs and put the IPFS hash here for now. Then we have the governance asset. So this is going to be the asset that people can use to actually vote and have influence in your DAO. Right now, the only thing you can use is any token on Wax, any Wax token. You can create one on WaxDAO if you don't have a token yet. So I'm going to click token here, but you'll see Later on, we're going to have other options. You'll be able to use an NFT collection or a specific schema or a set of NFT templates, whatever you want. But right now it's only token. So I'll click token, and now it's going to ask me for the symbol, the contract, and the amount of decimal places that that token has. And these all need to be formatted properly, or else your DAO is not going to work right. So for my token, I'm going to use WaxDAO. The voting token contract is MD Crypto NFTs. The contract is the contract where your token is deployed, wherever this asset is deployed. So it's not an account who's holding tokens. It's the account where the actual contract exists. For example, if you go on wax.blocks.io here, and we go to MD Crypto NFTs, you can see next to this account tab, there's also a contract tab. That's because I have a token contract deployed on this account. If your account does not have a contract tab here, that means you don't have a contract there. And that means do not put it in this field because it's the wrong address. It has to be the address where the token contract is deployed. You should see a contract on the account. And if you scroll down, you should be able to find token balances if you search for a specific account that's holding that token. Next, you have to put the decimal places of the token that people are going to use. WaxDAO token at MD Crypto NFTs has 8 decimal places. So I'm going to put 8 in this field. And then next we have the minimum staking period. This is how long is the minimum time that people have to stake for in order to join your DAO or vote there. To gain voting power, people have to stake their tokens to the contract. So they're going to have to go to your DAO. They're going to have to see what the governance asset is. So in this case, it would be WaxDAO token at MD Crypto NFTs. And then in order for them to actually vote there, they have to stake that asset. So how long do you want to force them to stake for as a minimum time frame? The least you can put here is 1 day. Anything less than that, the contract is going to reject it. So you have to make sure it's at least 1 day, but you can set it for as long as you want. So I think I'm going to set mine to 3 days. So I'll just put 3 there. And that means anybody who stakes in my DAO has to lock up their WaxDAO tokens for at least 3 days, no less. Next, you have the proposer type right here. This means who can create proposals in your DAO, who can actually propose something for people to vote on, right? Somebody has an idea, they think it might be good for the project, they want people to vote on whether they want to approve that or not. Well, who can do this? Can anybody create a proposal? Because then people are going to spam your DAO nonstop. You want to set this to at least have some kind of limitation, right? The 2 types that you can do here are stake weight and usernames. So if you do stake weight, that means how many tokens do people have to hold in order to create a proposal. If I only wanted people to be able to create a proposal, if they have, say, 100,000 WaxDAO tokens staked, then I would click stake weight here, and then down at the minimum weight, I would put in 100,000. And that means you cannot create a proposal in this DAO unless you have 100,000 WaxDAO tokens staked in the DAO. And the other option that you can choose is just a set of usernames. So if you don't want it to be based on how many tokens someone has, and you only want, let's say, some specific board of members, team members, or whatever, to create their own proposals. Maybe you want it to just be you as the DAO creator who can create proposals. Well, in that case, you just select usernames here instead of stake weight, and then you just type in the usernames separated by a comma. So if I want only me to be able to create a proposal, I would put Mike D Crypto 5. If I want to add another account, I'll just put a comma, and let's say J2HR4.wham can also create proposals. You can put as many names here as you want, just separate them by a comma and make sure all the names are valid. But in my case, I'm going to go with stake weight, and I am going to go and set it to that 100,000 that I mentioned. Next, we have the threshold. This is the percentage of people that have to vote in a specific direction in order for a proposal to pass. So let's say you create a proposal that says, I want to spend 10,000 wax from the DAO's treasury account, and I want to spend it on a partnership with this project over here. Do you guys want to approve that, or do you not want to approve that? Well, this threshold is the amount of people that have to vote yes. So if you set this to 51%, that means 51% of the votes have to say yes, or else the proposal fails. I think I'm going to go with something like 2/3 of people as my threshold for this DAO. So I'm going to put 66%, just 66. And if anything less than 66% is the outcome of a proposal, that means it does not pass. Next, you have the minimum votes. This is a similar concept as the threshold, except in this case, it's not who votes yes and who votes no. It just basically means a certain amount of people need to engage with this proposal in order for it to even be valid in the first place. So let's say I set this to 1 million. That means if the total votes on any proposal are less than 1 million WaxDAO tokens, the proposal is not even valid. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. Even if 51% or even if 66% of people vote yes, it doesn't matter because there needs to be a total of 1 million WaxDAO tokens that are voted to this proposal, if that makes sense. So if I have 1 million in my own account and I vote yes, that's automatically going to make the proposal valid because that's the minimum votes, 1 million. Now we have the proposal length. That's going to be an amount of days that a proposal will last. So if you make a new proposal, voting will open and it will stay open for however many days you put here. The minimum you can put is 3, and that's because we don't want anybody getting screwed over here. I think 3 is a fair minimum. You don't want some like flash proposal in the middle of the night that nobody has a chance to vote on, and some whale comes in and they make a vote and no one else gets a chance and the vote passes. You didn't even get to see it. So 3 days seems like a fair minimum. I'm going to set mine to 5 days here. So if anyone creates a new proposal in my DAO, voting period is going to open and it's going to stay open for 5 full days before the vote finalizes. Next, we have this little disclaimer here that says, warning, you can never change these settings once you sign the transaction. So double check and triple check and quadruple check that everything's correct, because if you don't, we're not responsible. There's nothing we can do to help you. So make sure you take heed of this warning. These settings are not editable. This is a one-time thing. Once you set these parameters, you can never ever change them ever. You'll have to create a new DAO if you want to make some different settings. So make sure you get this right. We can't help you. We can't do anything to change it. You can't change it. Once it's locked forever. Once you've confirmed that everything is correct and you're ready to do it, click the Lock Settings Permanently button, and it's going to open up a transaction and ask you to sign it. You can also scroll down and just see the details here. Make sure everything is correct. There's going to be a couple of things that might confuse you. For example, where it says template IDs here, and it says 1. If you selected a token, you're probably wondering why there's something under template IDs. That's just because I have to put something there, some standard data, just to make sure the transaction actually goes through. If I leave that field blank, it's not going to work. So if you didn't select template IDs, just disregard that, and the same goes for anything else that you didn't select. Anyway, click confirm, sign the transaction, and then you should get a message that says success. You can add funds. All right, I need to change that. That's old data from a different thing, but I'll have to change that message. But either way, the transaction went through. And then now if we go back to this DAOs tab here and go to the My DAOs page, you see I've got this new DAO, and it doesn't say DAO 3 anymore, or whatever it said before. Now it says WaxDAO, and it doesn't ask me to edit the DAO, it asks me to view the DAO. It's because I can't edit it ever again. So if I click on View DAO, had to fix a small bug real quick. All right, I'm back. So now you just click View DAO, and that will take you to the DAOs page. You'll see the information about the DAO. You'll see proposals, but right now there are none for this particular DAO. You can go to the About section and see what the DAO is all about, who the creator is, what DAO type it is. So right now, token is the only DAO type. You can't choose NFTs yet, but that'll be there soon. Then you have the governance asset. So this will tell you which token you actually need to stake in order to vote here. Minimum staking period, the threshold, and it should show you the minimum votes here. I'll have that fixed by the time you see this video, but I'm not going to do it right this second. So if we want to create a new proposal, I'm actually going to open a different browser here, with a different account. So I can just go to all DAOs, open this DAO, and let's say I want to create a new proposal. I just click new proposal on the left. It's going to ask me what the proposal type is that I want to make. Right now, there's only one option that's standard. That just basically means a regular proposal. You make a proposal, you have an idea, you ask people to vote on it, and that's that. Later on, there's going to be more types. There's going to be different types of transfers because there's going to be treasuries for the DAOs. So you'll actually be able to propose that tokens be transferred from one account to a different account, or NFTs be transferred or burned, all kinds of things like that. That's coming in the future, but right now you just have standard. Next, you have the proposal title. So I'll just say WaxDAO test proposal. What's the reason for this proposal? So you can write a description here. Just basically give a brief explanation of what your proposal is about. It doesn't actually have to be brief, it could be longer, but you should know that you're going to actually pay the RAM to store this information in the table. So the more information you put here in the description, the more RAM you're going to need to store that proposal. So let's just say I'm creating this test proposal for the WaxDAO tutorial video. And here you're going to put your choices. So choice 1, I approve. Then you can click the plus button to add another choice, and you can put second choice is I reject this. Third choice is maybe. You can also click the minus button to remove any of these choices. So if I want to remove I reject this, just click the minus button underneath it. And now we only have these two choices here. Once you're ready, you click the submit proposal button. And it's going to ask you to sign a transaction and approve the transaction. And this should be denied because you need to have 100,000 WaxDAO to create a proposal. Let's see what happens. Failure, you need to deposit RAM. All right, so we can't even create a proposal until we actually deposit RAM. All you need to do is go to the wallet tab on the left here and click on this deposit RAM button. It's going to open a transaction that asks you to deposit 1 wax. Then you just approve it. So now we got this success message. It says your RAM will be sold and returned to you as wax when you unstake. The reason you need to deposit 1 wax is just to buy RAM so that you can actually stake tokens. The contract knows that you need to have tokens staked in order to create a proposal. So it's not even going to let you create one unless you first deposit RAM and then also stake the tokens. So now we need to stake some WaxDAO tokens. I only have 2.79 here. That's not 100,000. All right, I've just transferred 100,000 WaxDAO to this account. So now I can just type 100,000 into the field and click stake now. Success, your tokens are now staked, and now I should be able to create a proposal. So let's go back to the proposals page, create a new proposal. And I've added 3 choices here, and now I'm going to click submit. I need to select a proposal type, standard, click submit. Success, your proposal has been created. So now if we go back to the proposals tab, you might have to refresh the page. We see a new proposal here. Test proposal by J2HR4.wham, and it's open and pending. We can click on it and it'll bring us to the proposals page. I need to make this look a little nicer. This is the last page that I have to do some design work on, but it works for now. So you can see the details here, what DAO it's in, how many people have voted on it, how much is staked, and what the choices are. So let's say I want to vote for choice 2. It's going to take all of my stake weight and apply it to this vote. So I've got 100,000 WaxDAO staked. If I click on choice number 2 and click submit vote, it should apply 100,000 tokens to it. So I'll approve it. Success, your vote has been submitted. And now we need to refresh again. 1 voter, 100,000. I can need to clean up these numbers a bit, but you get the point. It shows 100% of the tokens have been applied to choice number 2. And you'll see this grayed out button at the bottom. This is finalize proposal. You can't click on it right now, and that's because it's still open and pending. It doesn't end until 7/14/2022. So it can't be finalized right now. But once that period ends, it doesn't just automatically execute. Somebody needs to finalize it. So anybody can call this action, by the way, like anybody on the planet who has a Wax wallet. They just click finalize proposal and it will do all the math and end it. The reason for that, again, is just RAM. I don't pay RAM for anything with the contract, at least not anything where I can avoid it. That's the reason why the prices are so cheap for all the products on WaxDAO. It's because in order for me to give you those cheap prices, you have to be responsible for your own data, right? I don't own a DAO. I'm not selling you anything. I just provide a tool for you, but you have to pay for your own data. So once the period ends, you can click on that button, sign the transaction. It will end the proposal. And that's pretty much that for creating a DAO, editing it, proposing, voting. What else do we have? Yeah, that's basically it. As far as future plans go, I think I've mentioned most of them in the video already. I want to add treasuries to the DAO so that there can be automatically executing transactions. So let's say you have a DAO with a treasury. There will be an account linked to your DAO, and you can deposit funds there that are locked, and they can't be sent out of the DAO unless somebody creates a proposal to transfer them, and everybody votes yes, or however many people vote yes to pass the threshold and all that stuff. If it goes through, somebody can click finalize, and then that transaction will automatically execute and send the funds where they need to go. That's coming at some point. I'm also going to be integrating the NFT farms and the token staking pools to these DAOs. So you'll be able to reward people who vote in your DAO. You'll obviously have to get a farm or a token staking pool to do that. But if you don't want people to choose between staking in your DAO for nothing or earning in your NFT farm or staking pool, you'll be able to actually link the two together at some point in the near future so that people who stake in your farm or pool are able to get voting power just from that. So they can earn rewards for voting and not have to choose between the two. I'm also going to be integrating NFTs, like I said, so it won't just be tokens. It could be NFTs that can also be used for governance. And I have some other plans as well, but I don't really want to talk too much about all of them before they're ready. But definitely keep your eyes peeled. Join the Telegram at the top of WaxDAO right here if you have any questions. And that's it. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.